is on the views of communities affected by mining and why is it that there is this collision course, especially with Parliament as well as with the Minister of Mineral Resources and as far as their views being heard. Let's explore that a little bit further. We are with the Mining Affected Communities United in Action National Coordinator, Meshack Mbangula. Thank you for your patience, Meshack.
Thank you.
Let's take that one very quickly. So you're saying that there is currently a deliberate deliberate exclusion on the part of Parliament and on the part of the Minister. Why?
I will say one, it's, I'll put it straight, it's just few elites that are greedy and made to make sure that is they get all the, they maximize profits and, you know, and live a better life. Because, I mean, we wrote to Portfolio Committee and then we even went, we signed 50,000 signatures and took it to the Speaker of Parliament. And the Speaker of Parliament referred the matter to Portfolio Committee on Minerals and Energy, and which is with the Minister Gwede Mantashe engaged us to find out what were the problems that we were having. And the problems were strictly about the issue of consultation, because one, the mines in the communities, when they start operating, they don't really consult communities. They rob communities about issues of employment, which they won't employ them. And when they are already in that area, they find themselves forcefully removed in the area. So all those things, even when they're doing public hearings, that document that they do about is not informed by communities. So what we're saying is, for instance, the mining charter, this document is meant to uplift the life of communities. It should then be formulated by communities, consulted. But we find ourselves sidelined, excluded in formulating in the task team of mining charter. We excluded in the mining industry and growth. We excluded in the development and employment processes that are really affecting communities.
Is there a standard criteria then, you're saying, in as far as what a consultation meeting requires to have, as far as communities are concerned?
Yeah, what we're saying is, obviously we have what we call free, prior, informed consent. Before you can even come up with your process or whatever with your information, you must make sure I know what you are going to do, what is it that you want to do, and I can be able to engage you from an informed base and make a right decision. But if you will come today and say there's a big document, read it and decide on those documents, that's where the problem becomes. But we even, in 2018, we went to court, in High Court in Pretoria, demanding that we should be part of these processes of formulating the mining charter. The court came out in favor of us and to say, yes, communities, civil societies must be part of that. Yeah. But despite that order, they decided not to include us. They continued excluding communities. A lot of pickets, and like I indicated, we made 50,000 signatures to the Speaker of Parliament. We took those 50,000 to the Portfolio Committee in Cape Town in last year, December, 4 to 9 December. And this Portfolio Committee and the Minister engaged us to start a process of how we're going to start consulting communities. And after that, they never lived to that standard of keeping the promises of engaging us. They disappeared. And this year, in March, we wrote a letter to Portfolio Committee to say we want to start this process. Unfortunately, nothing happens.
You know, the last time I spoke to the Minister, for example, around the question, yes, Olobini, right? And he insists that there were adequate consultation with the community. The only problem, for example, he says, there are divisions within the communities themselves with those who've been lobbied by other interest groups who would have wanted to be prioritized as far as that deal is concerned. So you have those contestations, and they make that about the process of consultation. Let's talk to us about what happens in the communities themselves when the communities are divided, not because they don't see the value in the exploration or the mining work, but because they're divided on who will probably benefit the most?
Firstly, the mines, what they do when they come into the communities, they specialize in dividing communities. And few guys will be selected to say, if you convince communities to agree to this mining, definitely you'll be having shares in the mine and everything. But you look at Nkolobeni as such, those people still stand, in fact. They don't have electricity, but what they are happy with, they have land. And they are happy with the land because they've got farms and everything. And they know that mining is a formula for disaster. They've seen in Mpumalanga, they've seen in Gauteng, they've seen everywhere where mining is. And it's a wrong formula for everywhere. So because mine, when they come in, they're just interested in looting the minerals and destroy the land. I mean, if you look at the whole of South Africa, mine did not rehabilitate. We're having open pit with everything. They see these tailings dam around here because the aim was just to loot and leave those things. So mine divide communities by giving them money and everything. And you must remember, communities are very poor, and this is a strategy to keep us very poor so that any bit of slice that they give us, we jump for it. That's where they stay there. But communities, Makua, mining affected communities, I mean, we have more than 60, but we're very much united and are able to capacitate communities of issues of environment, socio-economic, for people to understand when the mine comes in, what they need to make sure they follow the process of consultation.
A forum should be established, one of the suggestions, where the views of the communities affected by mining could be heard. How would a forum established help?
Well, we have a lot of organizations, civil societies that are there, and we're talking of stakeholders. That forum should be including government, businesses. Everyone should be part of those forums to make decisions. Business will come up with their ideas, communities will come up with their views, and everything should be put in one pot. Obviously, what comes out there, it will be fruitful. But in this case, we find that there's these forums for business, parliament, and labor, but communities are not part of that. Yeah. That becomes a serious problem.
How do you resolve your issues with the minister? I mean, is he committed to further discussions with you? Are you going to sit around the table and find an honorable way to uphold your commitments and the commitments that he needs to uphold?
You see, with the minister, I think they have shown that they are really undermining us. And we've come to a point where, even in our letter, have indicated very well that there will be, civil disobedience. That means, like, for instance, in mining, if it comes to a push, we'll have to make a sit-in and disturb that meeting to make sure it doesn't sit in. And it's very important that these capitalists need to be touched into their pockets, because if you affect them in their pockets, they will then realize that they need to talk to us. But we have been, decent enough to engage them, to write them letters, to show them that these communities are really, disturbed with this continued exclusion of communities in making decisions, because we see inequality, poverty, where there is mining. And that means these guys are invaders, not investors, taking minerals and going away. That should stop.
Meshack, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That is Mining Affected Communities United in Action National Coordinator Meshack Mbangula, ahead, of course, of that mining indaba. And they are committed and certainly determined to have those communities involved in the talks and not talks going on without them.